Volcanic eruptions. Deep in the earth, a huge amount of energy builds up. This energy gradually pushes masses of hot rock called magma towards the surface. And one day, the Earth's crust can't take it. It explodes. That's when a volcanic eruption occurs. Volcanic eruptions are not just lava. Ash, gas, and rock fragments, thousands of degrees hot, can shoot up for kilometers. The sky darkens and becomes like night. Some eruptions are so powerful that they can even change the climate. One of the deadliest eruptions in history happened at Tambora volcano in 1815. It was so big that the world experienced a sunless summer, and millions of people starved to death. But volcanoes don't just destroy. New lands, fertile plains, even whole islands are formed by volcanoes. In short, volcanoes are both destructive and creative forces of nature. Tsunami. Something happens in the depths of the sea. An earthquake, a volcano erupts, or a giant mass falls into the water, and the ocean wakes up. A tsunami is no ordinary wave. It is almost unnoticeable as it travels offshore, but as it approaches the shore, the deepening sea turns it into a giant wall. It comes like a silent killer and sweeps everything away in an instant. In 2004, a tsunami in the Indian Ocean hit 14 countries and claimed more than 230,000 lives. An act of nature destroyed cities in a matter of minutes. But a tsunami is not just a disaster. It is a reminder of the power of nature, a warning that begins with silence and ends with noise. A tremor beneath the sea can sometimes turn into the greatest tragedy on Earth. Earthquakes. There is an unseen war under the ground. Giant layers of rock slabs rub against each other, squeeze, and build up tension for years. Until one moment, the chain breaks. At that moment, there is an earthquake. Earthquakes are caused by sudden ruptures in the Earth's crust. The energy spreads out in waves, and the Earth trembles. Sometimes it is just a tremor. Sometimes it can destroy a city in seconds. The 1999 Gelsenkirchen earthquake destroyed tens of thousands of lives in 45 seconds. The 2011 Japan earthquake triggered a tsunami that led to a nuclear crisis. Earthquakes do not announce their arrival. There is no time, no season. But we can be ready. Sturdy buildings, education, awareness. Nature does not stop, but we can endure. An earthquake is the earth breathing, but if we are not prepared for its intensity, even this breath will be destructive. Tornado. The sky darkens. The air becomes heavy, and suddenly nature begins to spin at its center. A tornado is the most destructive dance of the atmosphere. It is usually caused by a sudden encounter between hot and cold air. The encounter creates a giant spiraling column of air. A tornado is a deadly vortex with wind speeds of up to 500 kilometers. They can uproot houses, blow away cars, and even uproot giant trees. The Tornado Alley region of the US is the most frequently tornado-prone place in the world. Even in Turkey, tornadoes can occur from time to time, especially in coastal areas. They are short-lived, but long-lasting. Tornadoes are a reminder of how uncontrollable the power of nature can be. Sometimes just a minute, but that minute can wipe a town off the map. Hurricane. As the seawater heats up, a huge energy rises into the sky. This energy spins and organizes, and nature turns into a monster. We call that monster a hurricane. Hurricanes are giant storm systems that form in tropical oceans and spin with winds of up to 300 kilometers per hour. A hurricane is not just wind, it also brings rain, flooding, lightning, and huge waves. They are called by different names around the world: hurricane in the Atlantic, typhoon in Asia, cyclone in the Indian Ocean. But its destructiveness is the same everywhere. Hurricane Katrina in 2005 almost wiped New Orleans off the map. Thousands lost their lives and millions were left homeless. Hurricanes can be predicted days in advance, but if you are unprepared for their impact, they can bring a city to its knees. Because these storms test the patience not only of nature, but also of time. Flood. Rain sometimes doesn't just feed the soil, it drowns it. When rain falls heavily in a short period of time, when rivers overflow or infrastructure is inadequate, it turns water into a monster. Flooding is nature's most common, but most underestimated disaster. Water seems to come slowly, but once it is in the door, it can wipe out homes, cars, and lives. In flash floods, even 30 centimeters of water can wash away a car. Electrocution, mud flows, and drowning are some of the biggest dangers. The floods that hit Germany and Belgium in 2021 showed how cruel nature can be, even in modern cities. Hundreds of people lost their lives and billions of dollars were lost. You can't avoid floods, but you can take precautions. Forest fires. A spark. Sometimes just a spark is enough. Dry leaves, scorched branches, and hot air combine to turn the forest into an inferno. Forest fires are one of nature's most destructive disasters. They grow with the wind and spread rapidly. They destroy not only trees, but also animals, people, and ecosystems. Sometimes they cannot be extinguished for weeks. Sometimes it devours thousands of hectares in a few hours. Turkey's fires in 2021 engulfed the Mediterranean coast. Thousands of people were evacuated, villages burned to ash, animals perished. 90% of fires are human-caused. Cigarette butts, broken glass, even picnic fires. A little negligence can turn into a great slaughter. Remember, the forest is not just trees. It is our breath, our home. If it is not protected, it burns. And when it burns, not only nature burns out, but we burn out too. Avalanche. Everything is frozen, motionless. But sometimes, a tiny sound breaks the silence, turning tons of snow into a deadly weapon. This catastrophe is called an avalanche. An avalanche occurs when a mass of snow accumulated on a mountain slope suddenly slides downwards. Sometimes a skier's voice, sometimes the fall of a snowflake triggers this white apocalypse. The descent starts quietly, but can reach speeds of 300 kilometers per hour in seconds. It topples trees, swallows houses, and destroys living things in seconds. Snow is not just a soft blanket. It is suffocating, harsh, and deadly. Landslide. The earth seems quiet, but sometimes, the weight accumulated beneath that silence is suddenly set in motion. Slopes slide, houses are washed away, roads are swallowed up. This disaster is called a landslide. A landslide is when soil, stones, and mud slide downwards with gravity. It usually occurs after heavy rainfall, deforestation, or human intervention. An innocent house standing on top of a hill can be leveled in a few seconds. Because the water-saturated soil will not stand still, it washes away everything in its path. A landslide is nature's rage that comes without saying, "Stop." But if we learn to recognize its signals, we can reduce its damage. Because soil is not just what we walk on, it is the reality we live under.